That ain't going nowhere. Woo! Alright guys, it's the time we've all been waiting for. I know you've been waiting for it. I've been waiting for it. Have you been waiting for it?
I've been waiting for so long.
I'm super pumped about showing you guys these wheels. Before I do that though, let me explain something to you real quick why these videos kind of stopped and now they're starting again. This video actually took about 3 months to film. There's that much work into it, but also my dad has not seen these videos. He hasn't been watching the YouTube videos of this build on purpose because we're gonna unveil this truck to him in April. I'm gonna invite you guys out to come. It's the Rod Run in Pigeon Forge. More about that later, but that's why these videos stopped for a little while. Also because we had the off-road games. But this video in particular, there's about 3 months worth of work inside of it. So this video is finishing the build, and then we're gonna have one more video on the unveiling and showing my dad everything that we've done to his truck and seeing his reaction and his surprise. So stay tuned for that. Here we are, back to the video. So these are Raceline wheels. We have Milestar tires, and we're gonna combine the two. You ready to see this? Oh man, look how pretty those are. We've got to be extra careful. Are you listening? Extra careful with these that we don't scratch them. So we got these powder coated. These are the Rock Crusher Raceline wheels. I wanted to go with this particular design because it's very similar to what my dad had and similar to what you would find in the 90s, these circular holes. But we've got it powder coated. It's a simulation bead lock. Looks really nice. So that powder coat is matching all the other powder coated pieces. And then we're going to put it on some Milestar XTs, which are going to set off this truck and make it look oh so nice.
These were some really pretty wheels.
Are you sad?
I'm slightly sad. I mean, they look good, but they were really pretty.
I ordered them in black, but they actually came, the ones that came were
machined
aluminum, polished aluminum, and so it had to get sandblasted before they could even do this. But yeah, it was nice polished aluminum, which Josh liked, but I know that my dad has always been wanting some wheels that were black, and this isn't black, but it's very close. But he's gonna like this, I guarantee. We got to take a pause from those tires for a second because we've been keeping the truck outside to do the sanding, and Josh has been making a mess inside here. Why are you doing that? But we're having a little winter weather issue outside. We had 9 inches of snow the other day, and then we had sleet on top of that, and that was like 3 days ago, and now it's starting to sprinkle.
Since Matt lives about 3 hours from civilization.
That looks like fun. I want to try that. Uh-oh, car. So Josh has about a 45-minute drive home in his 2-wheel drive little car here. Do you think he can make it home in that?
I leave soon.
That guy's doing fine. There's a couple of really steep hills, 2 of them, coming into my neighborhood, and every time this happens, there's cars piled up on either side of the road there. Right now there's quite a few, so you kind of have to dodge them as well while you're going up the hill.
There's cars all over your road, at the side of the road, off the road. You just gotta go show them how it's done. Alright, we're doing a little snow wheeling here. Woo!
I gotta make sure Josh makes it up this hill. You guys gotta see this. like they put some salt on this hill. It looks pretty good right now. There's a vehicle down there, vehicle right there, vehicle right there.
Salted some of it since I came through this morning.
Yeah, it's not that bad now. Hope said though you can't come to work tomorrow if it rains tonight.
We'll see. Let me know what the road's like.
Okay.
It's gonna rain tonight and sleet.
Good luck.
Alright.
Let me know if you have issues again.
Okay.
Let's get back to work. All right, we have the shop back. Check it out. How long has it been? Like 4 months?
It's been a while.
So that painting, even though it turned out really great, good job, Josh, it took a long time. And that thing took up the entire shop in here for probably 3 or 4 months. But we've been hard at work putting this thing together still. Let me show you a couple of the things that we haven't shown on camera because a lot of it's just boring and you guys don't want to see everything. Trust me, a lot of you say, yeah, we want to see everything, but no, you don't. It's really, really tedious. But let me show you a couple things. One of the things I'm real proud of, we took apart these hubs and painted them really nice. So that was super painstaking. We even painted over the aluminum parts there, and then we had to file those by hand. File these pieces off right here so that it stood out again. A lot of people didn't like what I had done on the rear with the hub here, but I wasn't finished with that. So what we did was we put epoxy on that hub and then primered and painted that so that it matches the front, but it doesn't have the selector anymore. And then one guy said on the comments section that the wheels that I chose were hideous and looked really cheap. Well, I hate to tell that guy, but we hadn't even shown you guys the wheels and tires yet at that point. These are just rollers. These are not the tires and wheels that are going with this thing. They're just rollers, and we're keeping it that way because look how dirty these are. We don't want to get the new tires and wheels all dusty and dirty. So this is the powder coat color, and we color matched the mirrors. I figured that would look pretty cool. You got to remember the fender flares aren't on yet. We're waiting for all the dust to settle down for that as well. We're going to have this thing bed lined in a couple of days, color match bed lined at Linex, so that's going to be pretty exciting. Let me show you the inside. I haven't shown you a lot of this. Check this out. So my dad's favorite color is turquoise. He's got a lot of turquoise jewelry. This seat and this, check this out. This is not even the same company, but I found this and somehow they had the exact same material. And this is a little console. This is by Classic Consoles. It's pretty cool. So you cup holder, console, and it's basically just sitting on there. It's strapped in, but it's just sitting there, so you can still move this forward. You can still lean the seat forward because seat forward is here. I've got a spring on the back, so when you push that forward, it's actually pulling a spring forward and then sucks itself back into place. A lot of you guys wanted to know who made this thing. Who made that? Mud River. So if you're interested in that, it's by Mud River. That's the little storage compartment thing. I also took and inlaid this with turquoise. That was kind of a pain in the butt. I had already polished that, so by doing that I had to completely re-polish it. We took out the flooring and completely cleaned everything underneath the floor, and we just got something in the mail today that's going to be really awesome. Let me show you this. So I was looking at getting new seat belts, and I found this company called Seatbelt Planet. And instead of getting new seat belts, they can do that too, but what they did for me, and they can do for anyone, is to replace just the belt material. So they they kept the factoryness. If you are worried about having factory components, let's say, all they did was they went in and replaced the belt material. Because if you notice, the belt material was in pretty sad shape. They gave me that back for whatever reason, I don't know. But they even went so far as to re-sew the factory label onto the new seatbelt. That's pretty neat. So the color I chose, it's a little bit different than the factory color, but I think it's going to go nice with the color of the door panel, or the interior basically, right there. It's kind of close to that. Close to that. That's another thing I forgot to mention. Got new latches. Door lock knob. Got a new door lock knob.
The reason you keep this stuff and we want to reuse it is because it's really hard to find stuff for a 91 Toyota that's blue that actually matches. A lot of, like, we went through a few different door handles trying to find one.
We bought 3 different types of these. One was like really, really bright blue. One was black and it didn't look right. And then somewhere Josh found this one. It's just about the perfect color. And the original one had faded a lot.
It looked gray.
But if we were to replace these components here, they would just be black. I'll show you these installed here in a minute, but look at this topper.
Would you just look at it?
I'm going to have you talk about this since you're the expert.
We couldn't buy a new one, which would have been oh so nice. So I think you guys saw we had this sandblasted that left it full of holes and really rough.
I thought it was never going to be the same after that because it was just so coarse, almost like 1 grit sandpaper.
So just a lot of filler and sanding and primer and sanding and a lot of sanding.
Wait.
And a whole lot of sanding.
Sanding?
Lots of sanding.
Sanding?
My favorite thing. I love sanding.
Hey, guess what? It needs to be sanded one more time, Josh.
Yep. Yes.
But we're going to wait to put that back on because of the bed liner. So that has to get done first. And then we've got to put down a like a seal that goes right here. And then we got to reinstall the windows and stuff for that. This is something cool that Josh found on the internet somewhere. So this is a tail light cover for a Hilux. The original ones were pretty good shape, but they had some little tiny cracks. He bought this, asked me what I thought, and I kind of like it. What do you guys think? It's got this indentation to it. Factory one is just smooth right there, but the Hilux version has this little indent to it, and I thought that was pretty neat. Just like a little thing that most people wouldn't notice, but is going to be really cool.
For those you don't know, that Hilux is what the rest of the world calls a Toyota pickup.
And it seems like just those couple of things probably only took us a few days, right? No. Just what I talked about there is probably a month and a half worth of work boiled down into 5 minutes.
Yes.
We have one more thing to talk about. Josh.
So there was a lot of whining in the comments about the rear speaker placement. And, okay, it's not ideal.
The rear speakers are right there.
We had lots of ideas, or some ideas, like putting them in here. Well, that wouldn't do any good because you're still not going to be able to hear anything, and you'd have to cut the panel up to get them in there.
Somebody said that we should have mounted them in the corners, right where your head goes.
So this still needs to kind of resemble, this isn't a sound quality competition vehicle. His dad can't hear that great. He hears mostly bass. Those speakers back there are crossed over by the amp that's under here, and they only play about 100 hertz and down. Bass doesn't really care if it has something in front of it. It's going to work its way around. One commenter said that the stuff in front of it is going to slow the bass down. It doesn't work that way. A bass wave, it might make it quieter, but you can't slow it down. If it slowed it down, it would change the pitch. And sound is supposed to come from the front. It's supposed to sound like it's coming from the front. That way your mid-range and your treble comes from the front, and that's what's happening here. The bass, the filler, and the back is just to give you that nice little kick in your backside.
Well, I think what a lot of people didn't know is there are front speakers here, and those 6x9s, although they are not typical of a subwoofer size, they're tuned to be subwoofers basically in this truck. You also have to keep in mind that this is a single cab and there's no room, even if you want. Some people said we should have put one of those bars, like a sound bar right here. I mean, you would smack your head on it. My head sits right here. There's just absolutely no room in here.
Unless you went or put them in the door panels. We're not cutting into the door panels.
No.
That's not what this truck is.
No, this is going to be a factory look upgraded sleeper.
Custom factoriness.
Custom factoriness. One of the things I should also mention is that the company that made the seat cover for this, it's actually not a cover, it's like a replacement, but the name of them is Seats, S-E-A-T-Z, and you might have noticed that the first edition had a little issue there, but I called them, spoke to them, they took care of me, and they sent me a replacement. I actually sent them the factory one, and they made a new template, and now, as you can see, it's perfect.
Left, left.
Left? Matt, that's not left.
Which hand is this?
That's left.
Okay, left.
That is not left.
That is my left.
All right, fine, I'll go left.
Right.
Okay. Matt, do you want me to go right or left?
Your other right.
Matt, that is right.
Left.
Matt, passenger driver.
Right.
Matt, that's not right. Ah!
Hey guys, we made these shirts for the off-road games, and it was kind of a play on spotting left and right based on you looking at the vehicle, but they're the opposite direction of you. It was supposed to be a joke, but a lot of people at the off-road games didn't understand it, so we have a lot of these shirts left. It says BleepinJeep here, left but pointing right. On the back, it's right but pointing left, and it says off-road games. So if you didn't get this shirt, or if you didn't get this shirt, we have more available. We have a lot available on the website, BleepinJeep.com. If you want to get some, we're going to sell them at a ridiculously low price just to get rid of them. So, yeah, check them out, BleepinJeep.com. Get yours right now. Good morning. It's raining today. Nice, beautiful, rainy day. I honestly don't remember where we left off with this Toyota, but I do know that I didn't show you guys this. I don't know if you guys can see that. It just looks like the bed of the pickup truck, but that's because this is color matched Line-X, and I took this to Line-X of Knoxville. I didn't film any of that stuff because I didn't know those guys, and I didn't know whether they'd like that or not. They had it for a couple days, just got it back, and I don't know. It looks great. Don't get me wrong. They did a great job on the actual bedliner part. The color match is spot on. The surface looks really good. The only thing I'm not so fond of is they had a lot of overspray under here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but they oversprayed on the custom powder coat parts that we did. I'm not one to complain and say anything about it, but there's nothing really they can do about that now. I'm just going to have that re-powder coated under there. They also lost a couple of fasteners here in the tailgate. Other than those two things, they also got overspray on the rear axle. I don't know if you can see that, but there is white bedliner overspray on the rear axle and that shock right there. Those two things I can take care of, but the powder coat, I'm going to have that redone. Other than that, the bedliner turned out beautiful, and that's going to be perfect. What we need to do now, though, is get the slide out. It's probably dusty from all that stuff, all of the body work. We've been putting the bow switch back in, so that's going to power everything. And we've got a lot to do today, so let's just get into it. We'll show you as we go along. What are you working on in here? Uh-oh.
Base coat.
Base coat. So you can see on the, what would you call this? The door? Tailgate thingamabobber for the camper bed, the camper shell door. It needed a little bit of paint, so he's working on that. We also have the mirrors. They need to get put back together. And, I don't remember if I showed you guys the finished product on these seat belts, but they turned out good. I got the seat belts back in. I got the interior parts of the seat belts ready to go. And somewhere around here we've got some fender flares that need to go on today.
Let's see how dirty this thing got. Josh, it's brand new and it's already dirty. Okay, so for that bed slide, it uses these nut certs. I've already drilled the holes before I had this bed line, so there's 4 nut certs, and I need to put those in, crank them down tight. It's basically just like a drywall insert, but we're going to use a different bolt and this little tool that they gave us to spread that open inside there. That goes down in. Use my hammer. Then you hold this and spin this. That thing's tough. It seems pretty tight. Let's check it. Oh yeah, that ain't going nowhere. You have to say that. That ain't going nowhere. Okay, Josh, you ready? So we ended up buying some new mirrors, but they had this textured finish to them. They were black, and Josh just took these old mirrors, cleaned them up, and put the same powder coat on that is used for the rest of the truck. Good job on that. What do you guys think? Color match powder coat or textured black? I think those are going to look good.
Color match.
They were also just cheaper in general. Alright! I know you guys saw this before, but now it's bolted in and I can show you the other cool attachments for it. Check this out. We can finally open these boxes. Have you guys ever put IKEA furniture together? Because I think this was more impressive. It wasn't that hard to put together, but if you got any part of it wrong, the whole thing had to come back apart because of the way these slides work. Each piece has to go in there exactly at the right time, otherwise the whole thing has to be torn apart again. But that is pretty much every accessory that you can have for this bed slide. You have the rail that keeps things from falling out. Then you have this top piece here that has storage, this side piece that has storage, and that's pretty cool actually. That has a lot of storage now. But we've got even more things to go inside of there. Watch this. So this was kind of last minute, but we had that Vo switch with 8 different switch options, and we only had like 3 things, a couple of lights and a backup light and the horn. But I was thinking, we've got all these switches, we need to be able to use them for something. So this is a Rough Country twin tube compressor. That is going to be able to provide enough air for my dad to inflate his tires whenever they get low. So we're going to put that somewhere in the bed here. We also picked up something else that might come in handy. All right, check that out. This is a Rough Country fridge freezer. Oh, look at that. It's even got a light in it. It's got your freezer compartment, your fridge compartment, and I don't know yet where we're gonna put this in the slide out, but I'd like for this to be located maybe either here or in the back where he can reach it from the inside. I'm not sure which would be better just yet, but that's gonna be sweet. So I didn't realize that these little tie downs can go in the middle, right along here, and that'll be perfect to tie down the cooler. The only problem is to get those tie downs back out, the entire thing has to come apart. So I might just buy some more instead of doing that. Maybe just buy some more. That might be
If you can do that, yeah.
that might be the solution, or just make something that would work. So we're gonna figure out where to situate this stuff, and we'll be right back. All right, after much discussion and contemplating of the navels, we have figured out, I think I want the cooler to go right here on the end. That'll allow my dad to still be able to get bags behind it over on this side. And the compressor, we're gonna go right here. The issue with that is mounting it. So there's some bolts that aren't being used here. We're gonna make a little bracket that comes off and then just sits down on this side with some little rubber feet. This compressor is going to be run off the VO switch. At least we're gonna attempt to do that. It's a little bit too much amperage, but we're gonna run 2 switches on the VO switch, so he'll have to push 2 buttons for that. And then the cooler doesn't take much amperage at all, so that should be fine to run to the VO switch as well. Then he'll be able to control everything right here at the touch of his fingertips. And once we get all that done, we'll have to find the appropriate stickers. Where's the cooler sticker? The fridge sticker. It's got to be there somewhere. Anybody see it? So once we get that installed, we're going to run a line, a hard line, or a soft hard line up to the corner here, where he'll be able to plug in with a curly Q hose to be able to inflate the tires. Did I miss anything? That's the plan. Now we just have to achieve that plan. It's going to be harder than it looks. But it's Friday night. We've got places to go, people to see. So until then, we're going to put you right in here, and we'll see you Monday morning. It's Saturday. I'm not supposed to be working on Saturday, but I came in because I've got nothing else to do. This is the plate that is supposed to hold this, and it's going to go just like this. My uncle bought me these a while back. I didn't really know what to do with them. They're called transfer screw set. So I think this is the perfect opportunity to use them. What they do is you screw them down into the hole. So I need to transfer these holes to this plate, but I can't see them, and I can't get to the back of them to mark it with a marker. So I'm just going to put these screws in there, and it's got a little point on the end, if you can see that. Then I'm going to put the plate on here where it needs to go. I'm going to try to hold it steady. Kind of missed. Holy crap. That didn't work. It just knocked it right out. It knocked the nut right out of there. Okay. Well, it was a good attempt, but I'll have to save these for another day. I'm sure they'll come in handy at some point. You know what? Maybe I will use them, and I'll put a little bit of grease on them and just set that down there and make the mark. Good enough. I'll just circle those greasy spots, and that's where I'll drill some holes. Doesn't need to be super accurate. Alright, got the holes drilled right there. Got some more drilled right there. This is going to basically bolt on right here. Screws go here. Of course, I'm going to paint it first, but let me show you where this goes. This whole bracket is going to sit right here and bolt on to this so we don't have to put more holes in the bed, and then I'll just have some little feet that hold it off of the bed, some little rubber feet, and it'll sit right there. But before I finalize that, I want to make sure that the bed slide will slide in, so looks pretty good to me. I've got it wired up, you can see right there. I've got it mounted up and we're ready to test, but since we're running this off the VO switch, or we're going to attempt to, I need to put the key in. We need to make sure that the VO switch is on. Those two switches on the VO switch are going to be to turn on the compressor, one side and then the other side. Since we're using the VO switch, we're not going to use this rough country switch that came with the compressor. So because of that, I need to just jumper that switch. I don't know which one. There's 3 wires there because it has a light in it. So I'm just gonna jumper until I figure this out here. Woo! Woo! That was it. I don't even remember which one it was. There was a plug in the port. That thing builds pressure quick. Holy cow. Don't do that again. I almost took out my eyeball. It smacked me in the finger. Ow, that hurt. I have no idea where that went. Let's see, that was brown and blue? Yeah. Brown and blue. Alright, so we're gonna jumper this. And I can control the compressor right there from inside the cab. That's pretty cool if I do say so myself. We've got some more work to do. We've got to put a line from that all the way up to here, but we'll probably end up working on that on Monday. We'll be right back. What are you doing? What are you doing out here, huh? Are you a good puppy? Yeah. Alright, it's Monday, guys. A beautiful, dreary Monday. We're going to try to get this thing put together today. I hope we can get it together. Josh, what are you doing?
Putting the lift gate back together.
Don't mumble.
Putting the lift gate back together.
We got to try to train Josh to project.
Good luck.
We have all the hardware for the topper that has to go on. We have to get the topper on, the roof rack, the fender flares, the wheels and tires. I also picked up this weekend. This is pretty cool. I'm planning on putting nuts and bolts in this, but it was actually a blood slide drawer for like a hospital or something. And there were some leftover blood slides in there. I think that one is Ebola right there. But anyway, I think that'll be cool. Some of these are full width, so that's like 2 inches. Some of these have dividers in them, and then it came with some little plastic dividers, and I cut those up so that we could divide the nuts and bolts. Let's get started. Alright, so we need to get one of the last pieces down from up here and put it on the topper down there. You guys ready?
Yay! Can I get one side? Yeah. Just a little
Alright, that went to plan. That went well. So we've got a little bit of gasket material that I made up on there, and then we put some RTV in the bolt holes themselves. And now we're gonna see how this works when we squish it down. Hopefully it works good. We've got that on. If you guys remember from our previous video, we've got some KC lights that are going to go up here. And we've got this bar that's going to go on the underside and hold those all together. And then it's just going to look like there's lights attached to here, but that bar is going to provide the support from underneath. Since these lights are going through a fiberglass surface, I want to make some sort of a seal. So I'm going to take a piece of rubber and I'm going to take a razor blade and just cut that to fit. And then I've taken a socket and sharpened the end of it to use as a punch. There we go. That'll create a nice seal for our light. Oh yeah. Now we have the issue of routing the wiring. We're debating whether to go through or around the side. I'm kind of leaning towards going around the side because of how big these are. You'd have to have a ginormous hole right there to make a clean installation. And you'd have to have two, so one going through here and one going through here. Josh is up to no good here. So you're thinking you're going to put that horn, that black horn, right here in the middle?
Yeah, you won't be able to see it. I don't know.
The same's true with the wiring. I think if we route the wiring across there, you got to remember that we're going to be down here.
No, but I think you'll see it from the side.
Josh!
What's up?
We got Christmas presents.
Christmas presents?
This one actually came wrapped, and I wasn't quite sure what it was, but it says in here that it's from Jeep Doc.
Oh, nice.
Jeep Doc also has a YouTube channel, and apparently he thought that we needed a tool
Okay.
that we didn't have. Do you know what that is?
Oh, a radiator fin straightener. Yeah.
So that's a tool. Apparently he thought we needed a better appliance than a knife to straighten the radiator fins on the Toyota here. So how does that work? You just comb it like a comb?
Yeah.
It's got a handle. Cool, thank you, Jeep Doc.
Nice, thanks, Rick.
We've got some other things here for the air compressor. Oh, the chain came. I bought this chain for the wire, for the cord that goes to the cooler. Whenever you open this bed slide, it's going to have to come out like this and then go back, and this will guide the cord without it flopping all over the place.
Nice.
I got a pigtail for this to come up to the corner, and I got a
Coily hose.
bungee cord.
We're not going to finish this truck if you keep buying parts for it.
It'll get done one day.
Can I show you something?
No.
It's going to make you sad.
What?
You see the issue here.
It's not long enough?
Yeah. Well, it depends on where you want to put it, but it needs to at least be as long as that can travel.
As it slide out?
Yeah.
Well, the good news is you just buy another one and connect them
And connect them together, yeah.
All kinds of barbecues.
You mean
and then
pepperoncini?
pepperoncinis.
That's good stuff. All right, after lunch we got this thing mounted up. I think that's pretty tidy right there. It goes underneath the bed rail to the rough country compressor. So right underneath there. This will just plug and play right here to air up your tires. That should be able to get to all 4 tires there. The cooler strapped down to those mounts there. Same thing on the back. We're still waiting on the cordage. We've come up with a game plan for this. These wires are real small since they're LEDs. So if we just put 4 of those into one, all we need is 1 positive, 1 negative going through right here, and then we'll try to route that over and down the side, and then that will meet up with the VO switch, which is right here. Plan?
Man, you said that works?
Yep. 2 switches in the middle bottom.
Satisfaction.
It's a new day. It's a really bright day today. Sun's shining. That's awesome. Can't see a darn thing. Woo! What's happening today, Josh?
Morning. We're getting ready to fold this top in half.
I hope not in half. Every day I tell Josh, all right, we're going to have this done by the end of the day. And then 6:30 rolls around and we haven't even done anything, it seems like. Minor progress every day. It seems like the end of a build starts going really slow.
I just kind of smile when he says that.
What was it? Last week I told you we're going to finish this up on Monday?
Yeah, no, last Friday you said, I have some stuff to do in the office for about an hour, then I'll come down and we'll finish that truck up today. And I laughed.
And that was a week ago. So, by the end of today, though, we're going to have it done, right?
We don't have all the parts.
Okay, maybe by the end of this month, but let's do what we can do today. We're going to put this camper top on. What we need to do is get that, I think, attached to this lift. It's a lot heavier than it was. Man, that thing's really heavy now with all the stuff attached to it. Windows, lights, roof rack. So we're going to use the lift power, and then somehow we got to situate this underneath it and bolt it down. Do we have the clamps? We're going to need those clamps. I got some new clamps, and we've got to get the foam off the bottom of this, put some new foam on it so it'll seal nice. Yesterday we got all the lights wired up, got those going through there, so that's watertight. Good job on that. Everything's looking good. So we've got this new foam gasket that we're going to put on the bottom of the camper top to seal it, but before we can do that we have to get the old one out of here. So we're going to work on stripping that off, making it nice and clean so that the new seal will actually stick to that. Okay, gasket's in place, floor is swept. Now we have to maneuver this thing underneath there. What else did we do? Oh, we put some wax on here. What I want to know is what is wax? What is wax? What is it made out of? Where does it come from? Josh says it comes from trees. I have my doubts. Alright, we've found our next issue. We always come up with issues here, but this is ridiculous. And to get that to work properly, it's going to have to sit like that and really stick out. My dad's factory hardware was nice and clean and tight like this. It went through this hole, but I think if we take this, see how that's the same shape right there? Mm-hmm. If we cut it right there and then drill and tap right there, we'll have the same bracket, and then we can even use, we can get a smaller bolt to match this, or we can just use this bigger bolt. KC lights on the top are all wired up. Now we have this. This is actually a light that's going to go on the ceiling, and you just touch it and it'll illuminate this whole area. We need to get that wired over to the Vo switch. We're not going to have it on a switch in the cab, but we'll have it where you can just touch it on here. But the power is going to draw from the Vo switch. And while Josh is working on getting that set up, I'm going to start on the fender flares. The fender flares have been painted this Cadillac gray to match the rest of the powder coat. If you'll remember, these are the Bushwhacker fender flares, and they come with piping that's going to go along the edge. And so I'm going to install that, and that's just to keep it from scratching the paint on the truck. Alright, I've got all the piping on there, but I can't put those on until I get the tires and wheels off, or at least raise this thing up, because the drill and the screwdriver won't fit in there. What kind of mess are you making up here?
Hoping not to poke a hole in the roof.
So that's an issue. is drilling a hole sideways into there when we don't have a right angle drill attachment. So what can we do? I think I got an idea. So this is a drill and tap all in one, but you can only use that if you've got like thinner sheet metal. Only 10 more to go till you get back up to the back down there. We got this all wired up. It's pretty cool. You just touch it and it lights up nice and bright. You touch it again, you get a nice cool blue light, and it's also dimmable. You can hold and it'll dim down. There we go. And dim back up. Oh yeah. Very cool. Josh, what did you do?
I bent stuff.
Okay, so this is the 3-link arm on Josh's WJ Bumble, and he's bent the snot out of it. We've got to bend it back, not straight, but a little straighter than that. Our plan is to use heat. We're going to heat that sucker up and I guess attempt to put it into the press while we're heating and straighten it out. I need a bigger press. Because the fender flares change the shape of the side here, I'm going to have to modify this mud flap a little bit. So I'm just going to use a razor blade, straighten that out a little bit. I think that'll do it. Alright guys, only one thing left to do. And we're almost done with this thing. We're going to take these ugly wheels and tires off and replace them with something cool. You guys remember this? Milestar tires on Raceline wheels. Check that out. That looks so fancy. That's the Rock Crusher Raceline wheel, the Milestar XT 31s. Let's see what it looks like on there. It's color matched, powder coated to match all of the other Cadillac gray. I think that's gonna look nice. Nice black lug nuts to go on there. I even bought this, it's supposed to be a non-marring sock. It basically has just rubber around the edge there so that if these go inside the wheel, it doesn't scratch them up. That gives it a much better look. Look at that. Wow. What a difference a set of wheels and tires can make, huh? That looks good. Alright guys, this is the exciting part. We are so close to being done. It is almost finished, but we're going to have to wait until April. So what I want to do is take my dad to a car show and unveil this truck to him at the car show. So if you guys want to come, it's going to be at the Spring Rod Run in Pigeon Forge. It's April 18th through the 20th. If you want to come out, I would love to see you guys there. You can meet me, you can meet my dad, you can see this truck in person before he takes it back and puts it in his garage, never to be seen again. But once again, thank you guys so much for hanging in there with us for this build. We're going to have one more video on this, and that'll be the unveiling and a little bit of the rod run, and just showing him this truck. It'll be like Pimp My Ride whenever they finally unveil the truck. Should I get like a sheet or something? Maybe I should put a sheet over it and then whip the sheet off like they do on the show, or drive it around a corner. while he's waiting. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to unveil this, but we're going to be doing that pretty soon, coming up in April. I'll leave a link down below to the Pigeon Forge Spring Rod Run if you guys would like to come. It's a huge deal. Like, the whole town is taken over by hot rods. So stay tuned for where exactly we're going to be in the town. I will post that on my social media, Instagram or Facebook. Until then, huge shout out to our Patreons right over there. We couldn't do these videos without you guys. Thank you so much. And if you would like to become a Patreon, check it out, BleepinJeep.com/Patreon. Otherwise, check out our website. We've got all kinds of cool shirts, hoodies, Freedom winch lines, all kinds of great stuff. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time.